Hey there, Spooky. How you doing there, buddy? Finishing up your kit and caboodle? Where are you going, Speedy? You see a bird or something? Better be careful. Those grackles are blackbirds. We tend to call them crows, but they're really not a crow. They're too small. And you may have seen in the previous video, one of the grackles, I called it a crow, was getting a little retribution there on Spooky. They've been trying to get him, the grackle that is, all day long. Unsuccessfully, I might add. So, there y'all are, friends and family. So good to see you again today. Oh, and it's a wonderful, beautiful afternoon. Bright blue skies. Well, I don't think there's a cloud to be seen. Not anywhere. Oh, maybe just a touch of a breeze. 81 degrees. 3 in the afternoon. You can't beat it. And I haven't done a whole lot today. Yep. I pretty much went a little bit slower today. We've done a little bit. Continuing on the theme of whip the property back in shape over the month of May. So, if you want to, you can take a walk with me. Because even though we've really been working hard the last 2 weeks, thereabouts, I'd say about 10 days, well, as hard as one little old guy can go, and on occasion with some help, we're still gonna be active every day. Yes, we are. No matter what's a hurting. And there's a few things hurting. That's just all part of getting old and part of getting up off the butt and getting her done. So, hey, if you want, come on. Let's take a walk. We ain't going nowhere today. We're just going to walk the trail along the property. Okay? Well, the kitties are happy. As you can see, there's Speedy. She's laying in a little bit higher grass because she knows between now, Tuesday, May the 10th, and probably this Friday, this area of the yard will get mowed again. And you can see we finally got all around the big old front oak. Oh, trimmed up, looking a little bit nicer. The kitties are happy. Still got to trim up the Buford hollies. Yeah. But we sort of had to hold off. And many of y'all know why. Because, you know, we had to wait for the city to come pick up everything. And they did that today. At about, I think it was 10:30, going on 11. The trucks come by with the big claws. And they reached down, scooped it all up, and carried it off. And they did a fine job. Even got down there and raked all what they could up and got it up in the truck. And then I just, here, not too long ago, came over here with the rider and gave it a quick mow. Because it was getting a little bit long underneath that pile. But we still got some cleanup to do, but hey, we got a whole lot more coming. So we ain't gonna jazz it up too good, are we? Yep. And like I said, we had to hold off because pretty much had as high as I could throw it. So I'm thinking tomorrow, well, maybe later this afternoon, towards dusk, I might start toting, you know, dragging. Oh, what we cut down on Mother's Day and a little bit more yesterday. But I did take the weed eater and come over here and weed eat all this back down. Because we're going to be putting in a little bit of a plant. We'll plant something in between these T-posts. I'm thinking maybe some maters and maybe some cucumbers. Or it could be beans and cucumbers. And I might go with maters and some peppers here in the tire planter. I'm not sure yet. But I do got some plants. I surely do. Yeah, I snuck by Superfoods in between y'all stopping by and picked me up a few. Spooky came along because, you know, he can really, he's got an eye for the best plants, don't you, Spook? He surely does. Yep, we got to get them filled up. I'm thinking that's a tomorrow afternoon project. What are you thinking, Spooky? Are you thinking later this afternoon, huh? You are? Well, we'll see how the old man feels. I know you're all tuckered out too. Yes, you are. But it don't matter how tired my ever faithful companion is. As you can see, he's going to be here checking it out. Now, I'm going to try to get them to grab some of this and follow behind me. I was trying to teach them yesterday. It wasn't going too well, as you might imagine. I'd start dragging some of it, and they'd all jump on. Spooky, Speedy, Cleo. Basically just lay on it and have me drag the limbs with them laying on top of them behind me as if I needed any more weight. But as we continue to clear this off, I'm sort of getting, you know, back where I can walk more and more of the property. And I'm forever happy about that. Now somebody I saw questioned why I'd want to cut trees down. They provide shade. In their mind, that's a good thing. Well, I would agree, especially in the deep south. But let's see. Currently, probably 80% of my property is shaded. It surely is. And that sort of limits areas that I can grow something on, you know, that I would enjoy, like food. And what we're looking at right here, underneath these here scrub trees that grew up over the last 10 years. This was one of my two extremely productive garden plots. Yep, right here. And with these trees and all the vines and shrubbery and all that was here growing out away from the shop all the way out 10 plus feet from the wall, you couldn't possibly grow anything in this area. Nope, you couldn't. In fact, if you look here at bare dirt, and then look here, you can see just how far out all that there shrubbery and brush and vines and tree seedlings of every type known to man had taken root. Yep. In fact, right along here, I used to always keep, and that's why this area actually is higher than this area here by about 4 feet, because that's where my compost piles always were, right along that black edge of the property line. And here was compost generator right here. Now more or less a junk dump. We can clean it out, revive it, or we can take it all down and start over. Yep. So I mean, that's one of the reasons for getting these trees down in certain areas, particularly this one. So should I be of the thought to grow again, I can grow right here, because this ground right here had been developed for about 20 some odd years. It was extremely productive, not from commercial fertilizers and additives, but from many years, every year of composting on it, layer composting, leaves, grass clippings, oh, food scraps, you name it, it's been down on this. Sometimes as much as 3 and 4 feet deep in a season. You know, we might grow in the spring, layer compost the remainder of the year. Or it might be the year where this was a fall garden. And then once that was done, we'd layer compost, you know, from spring onward. Because we would often switch up between this garden and the one, what we call the north garden. Sometimes we'd have both going. And then we'd be layer composting in between the rows. Yep, and then all you gotta do next year is shuffle over, and what was your walkways where you were layer composting, those became where you grew, and where you grew the previous year became where you layer composted that season. See what I'm saying? Yep, might be difficult to understand without seeing it. Well, anyway, that's the explanation for why the trees are coming down. Also why some of these pines will come down. Can't get no sun in the mornings up till midday through all the pine canopy. Or if you do, it's very limited. And as you can see, don't much grow. Right here and right here where my foot is now, that would have been the eastern edge of this garden plot that would run about 30 feet to the west and was approximately 60 feet from north to south. Yep, I think it was basically 60 by 60 feet area. Here again, it had been layer composted with the method I told you about for 20 years before. Just didn't grow no more. Just didn't have the time. And let it go. And you can see it's super productive. Because, I mean, this has grown up. If you look back at some of my very earlier videos, especially those in 2018, you can see this was a jungle. The ground was extremely productive. I cleared it all off, and then this here past year, it all got grown up again. Because I just really couldn't keep a handle on it with other things that were going on over the last couple of years. Gets back to one person and a kitty crew. As you see Spooky rolling out in the dirt out there. He loves to roll around and play in the dirt. I accuse him of being a kitty pig instead of just a kitty. He loves his dirt, even when it's wet and muddy. As strange as that might be. He loves to sunbathe. And then he'll go nap in the shade. But no, we're going to have plenty of shade. We have the massive mother oaks, well, mother and father. We'll always have some pines here on the back end of the property. We've got our massive pine out there. We've got our pecan trees in our pecan orchard. We got our Japanese maples. We'll always have some Buford hollies. There'll be plenty of shade. Even if I cut back the things I'm talking about cutting back, we may get down to a 50-60% shaded property. You know? And then up here to the north of the bamboo forest, and that, not that far off the road, there's some more oaks. There's about 5 of them. maybe 6. Now some of those need to come down too. 1 or 2 I'll probably keep. And of course this all is, you know, we're gonna nibble away, munch away at it as we can. We're not gonna get in no hurry. Woo! It's toasty out in that sun. It's 81 degrees, but that's when you get back here in the shade. Even spooky. He got out of that sunny patch, now he's in the shade. And he's staring out at that sunny patch there. Of course, you can see the shade going out over the north lawn from those oaks right there beside the house. And this whole property transitions throughout the day. From as soon as the sun comes up till the sun goes down in the evening. You know, you can watch the shade and shadows just play out over the day and over the landscape that is the property. And that's one important thing to know. When you're thinking about growing something, what you're going to grow, where you're going to grow it on your place, no matter how small or big it is, you know, how much sunlight does it get? How much shade? Does it get morning sun or afternoon sun? You know, here in the deep south, I've learned morning to early afternoon sun more better than midday to evening sun. Why? Well, from the dawn to midday, your temperature's rising. And of course, your hottest time of the day is going to be from midday on throughout the afternoon. So most things do fairly well with a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight. You know, the old standby is 8. But here again, that depends on the intensity, time of year, climate, and location. Trust me, it does. It's a little bit more complicated, I found out over the last 60 some odd years of doing it. Then, you know, just these here rule of thumbs. 1 inch of rain a week, 8 hours of sunlight. Yeah, some places, and with some things you're growing, 8 hours of sunlight can mean death to your plants instead of life. I learned that, what was it, 2020 with some new blueberries. Even though I knew mine are very productive in partial shade, I went ahead and did like they said, because it's a brand new variety, right? And I didn't know nothing about them. I thought the people who developed them did. I should have known better with a new variety. Couldn't possibly have tested it in all growing conditions. So I followed their recommendations, full sunlight, all day long, and I stuck them out there, where they got full sunlight from the time the sun came up to the time the sun went down. And they did okay in the spring. Come summer, even though I watered them twice a day, never let the ground get dry, they just shriveled up and died in the deep south blazing sun. They surely did. So, you know, even though I had learned the lesson, I relived it again. If I were to plant more blueberries, I'd plant them in a similar location, like I have the ones growing on the west side of the house. Yep, it gets partial sun or all day long, depending on where the sun is. Not too dark, not too blazing light. It's hard to find those sweet spots on your place, and maybe you don't have them. But it's always best to look for them. And I like walking the property. I mean, for no larger than it is, you gotta admit it's quite diverse. There are literally hundreds upon hundreds of species of plants and animals on my little small piece of paradise. Like right there, we got some fine honeysuckle. We got some pecan, little seedling right there. Look at that. Oh, and there's plenty more in there. So, you know, if I was about 30 years younger, I'd go get a shovel, dig it up, and transplant this fall. But I got 3, and for one little old man, that's actually more than what I need. Spooky, our yellow flowers sprout back up. We're going to have to mow them back down, aren't we? Crepe myrtle's still hanging in there. Yep, truck. Oh, we got some ruts here in the yard, because as you can see, or maybe you can't, the ground stays really moist here. And there's a secret for that. There was actually a spring that came out of that hillside right there. And you can see it back in aerial photographs taken above the property in the 40s. It ran right back here behind the house all the way down through the neighborhood till it was filled over. But during wet years, it rises to the top. It don't cooperate. Big tree's looking good. It got burnt back some from that late cold spell, so it's not going to do much for the spring crop of figs. I did notice that. It's only got 1 or 2, if at all, any. I thought I saw 1 or 2. Well, there's one right there. Somewhere hiding, there's another one. And that's all I saw. And that's just part of it. We had that cold snap. Come on down to 24. Everything was budded out like I showed you and told you. And it burnt back some things. Like some of my figs. Some of the blueberries. Well, I'll trade the figs for the blueberries any day. And you can see that massive pile of limbs, branches, vines, shrubs, and what have you. Over here is also missing. Yep, city got it too. That young man did a fine job. And you know, overall, our city's a fine little city. It's caught some crap here in the last couple of months. It made nationwide news for not good things. But there's more good than bad. A city is not defined by a couple of people. No, it's not. It's defined by the sum of the whole, not its leader. Now, granted, if the people in a city, town, county, state, or in a country allow their leaders to define their places, to define who they are, and the definitions of what they stand for, well then, it can be a bad place. You see, it's up to the people to rise up and say, no, that's not what we're about. We're not having that. And it will stop. And we will hold the people who wanted that accountable. Just that simple. But it takes people standing up. And once upon a time, back when I was younger, and my elders were where I am now, my age and older, Seniors were a powerful force to be reckoned with, and politicians knew it. But maybe I'm not seeing it the same. But I know most of my viewers are my age or older, or close to my age or older, and I just don't see us being that force to be reckoned with anymore. Politicians don't seem to care anything about seniors. But hey, like I was saying, we got the time. But do we have the will? Yeah, I know. We're all worried. We're all wondering where the country, as well as the future, is taking us. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you think our country and future is going. Let's don't make it political. We just got to be Americans. Yep. Maybe get back to our roots. Well, I'm thinking we need to get back to the roots. Maybe we need pruned down to the base, down to ground level, and see if we can't regrow back a nation that once grew and once was proud and stood tall. Anyway, didn't mean to get in my soapbox. Since we're over here on the front porch, as you can see, Speedy's out there lounging underneath the oak. And you know who. Yep, my buddy Spooky. He just don't got no more to give. He's right there on the second step by my feet. I don't know if I'm protecting him or he's protecting me. It seems to be getting cooler. The breeze has kicked up a little bit more. You can hear the birds singing their songs. Many different types and species. We've seen the greckles. I've seen mockingbirds on the place again. Cardinals. The jays are back. Of course, we got wrens, all types, I guess, and thrush and sparrows, and not all sure what. They know old Mr. Tom and the kitty crew, more Mr. Tom than the kitty crew, make sure they got their feed, make sure they got their water. Mr. Gray sort of thinks, you know, the feeders were put out to lure the birds in so he could have a snack. Yeah, I was watching him this morning while I was making my coffee. Of course, as you know, Spooky, Speedy, and Cleo are bad to do the same thing. Not so much anymore. On occasion, when they think I'm not looking or I'm busy. It ain't like they're going without food. But I guess fresh chicken, no matter the size or color, is still tasty. God bless the kitties. Yep, can't beat that sky. And I'm thankful for that breeze. Woo. And somewhere in the distance, I keep hearing the chime of some bells. I don't know if you hear that from time to time. Huh. Somebody's got some new wind chimes, I'm thinking. Might be right over there. And I see some chimes out on the front porch. So, not much of a vlog, video, or what have you today. Because we're just not doing a whole lot. We did a little bit of trimming, a little bit of organizing, a little bit of mowing. Really just sort of a laid back day, sort of a recuperation. I didn't want to, but really couldn't do what I wanted to do, which was continue to tote all that stuff out, throw it on pile so I can continue on. And in a way, I'm grateful the city didn't come any earlier than what they did. Because, you know, little old man might have been fool enough to Had they come by 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and scooped it all up to continue on. And I probably would have. But a day of rest, well, somewhat rest. I think my body will appreciate it. I think the kiddies will appreciate it. They tend to freak out with mowers, trimmers, all that kind of stuff, whizzing and buzzing, and you know, it really unnerves them. But hey, no matter where you are in this world, no matter how the weather may be, or how your life is treating you, remember, it can always be sunny right up here, if you so desire, in your own little world, between your own two ears. Yeah, sort of like a virtual video game, if you decide. Once upon a time, that's all we had. We called it dreaming, daydreaming. Yeah. We didn't have everything we had now. But we could close our eyes and we could go to anywhere we wished. Anywhere our mind could think of, imagine, and take us to. And occasionally, I like closing my eyes and taking that trip too. So y'all, remember, you make your day, whatever it is, in the end. And as I, Spooky Speedy, and Cleo, Mr. Gray, sometimes Elrod, Magoo, and Heathcliff, and you know Gracie and Lilybits in the house enjoying the AC. See y'all on the next video. Take care, stay safe, and God bless each and every one of you as you bless others. Goodbye for now. I'm telling you, Spooky, now I'm gonna piddle, okay? We got some things to do in the house, so I'll just piddle some. And then we'll get back at it tomorrow, okay? So make sure you find your gloves, your pruners, get everything ready, make sure all the batteries are charged, okay? And we'll hit her hard. Let's say 8 o'clock, okay? He's not even acknowledging me. Oh, later all.